Welcome back. Paul Anderson's award-winning film Licorice Pizza tells the story of a young woman's journey to self-discovery, and it was named one of the best films of 2021 by the American Film Institute. Our Matt Perrin has his take in our Monday movie review.
Welcome to another Monday. This past weekend saw Cyrano released in theaters, but I had to skip it because the only true Cyrano to me is Steve Martin in Roxanne. I finally found a local showing of yet another Best Picture nominee, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, I definitely had to give it a try. With two first-time actors leading the movie, can it live up to the hype? Let's have a look at Anderson's love letter to the Valley in the 70s with my take on Licorice Pizza. Our movie begins by following Gary Valentine, played by Cooper Hoffman. He's a 15-year-old high school student in Encino, California, and on picture day, he meets 25-year-old Alana Kane, played by Alana Haim. Even though she's a decade older and works for the photography company, Gary is overflowing with confidence, and throughout constant talking, he is able to convince her to meet him for dinner. At the meal, Alana learns that Gary has been a child actor and is very business-minded. She makes it very clear that they will remain friends, but through several future adventures, they actually become business partners. Alana has a very conservative Jewish family that she is often at odds with, so she finds it as an escape to hang out with Gary and his high school buddies. Gary is a schemer who is able to pick winning trends. Somehow he, Alana, and friends soon end up opening a successful waterbed store. Their business leads them on adventures involving Hollywood elites. They end up on a tangent involving hairdresser turned movie producer John Peters, played by Bradley Cooper, in a scene where all kinds of madness ensues. All the while, the will they won't they vibe is always in the air, often sabotaged by the pair trying to make each other jealous. As the movie progresses, more shenanigans ensue for our protagonists, both working together and as singular entities. After many of these missteps, Alana wants to get her stuff together and works on a mayoral campaign. From this, Gary learns of the relegalization of pinball and his next business is born. Physically, the two drift apart, but emotionally, we can see that they've actually grown closer. We, as the audience, wait to see what will become of the two, no matter which direction we are rooting for it to go. So, what to say about this one? First off, as I mentioned, there are those that love Paul Thomas Anderson's style and some that don't. For the most part, I'm of the latter group. I've seen Boogie Nights multiple times, but have never had a repeat viewing of any of his other movies. That being said, I liked the movie, but didn't adore it as so many have seemed to. I think if you're a fan of his, or if you grew up in the area, or grew up in the time period, it will mean a lot more to you than others. For those people, I bet the movie flies by, whereas for me, the 2-hour-and-a-quarter runtime seemed much longer. That being said, the cast is fantastic. The late Phillip Seymore Hoffman had most of his best roles in PTA's movies, so it's only fitting that his son has his first breakout and well-acted role in one as well. Alana Haim really carries this movie, and it's hard to believe that it's her first role, but it must have been fun to have it with her actual family. There are many celebrity connections in this, and everyone shines. The movie is based on a friend of Anderson's, and you can tell he had a blast making it. There are plenty of fun tidbits, such as Bradley Cooper playing the guy who produced the movie that he remade a couple years back that got nominated. The movie doesn't play in a straight line, but shoots off into tangents to the point that I was pulled out of it. But on the plus side, there were several laughs to be had. We'll talk about this one again in a couple of weeks, but for now, just know that just because it isn't my favorite of the 10 nominees, I can understand why it would be someone else's. This has been your Monday Movie Musing. Back to you.